I'm Sherri Williams. I'm from North Carolina, and I'm the mom of twin 5-year-olds. They were born prematurely. They were born at 26 weeks gestation, so they were born very early, and we spent a long time in the NICU. We spent time in the NICU we were there for 10 weeks before we were able to bring them home. Early intervention program in North Carolina contacted us while we were still in the NICU, just to let us know about the services and see if we're interested in any supports while we were still there. We decided to wait until we were able to bring the kids home before we enrolled in early intervention, but it was nice to have that contact and know that they were there waiting for us when we were finally able to bring our girls home a couple months later. So even just participating in the program, although it was a partnership, in many ways we felt like we were leading the way as it pertained to making choices. When the options were offered, we made the final decision about many things. And then beyond participation in the program, I've been on our state Interagency Coordinating Council. I was asked to be on a family advisory council for the school where my girls attended preschool. And so I've been very active on that council and continue to be on that. I've been invited to a local Interagency Coordinating Council, and I attended a conference last year as a parent representative, and so I got a lot of good information from a parent perspective, and I was also able to present a parent perspective at a national conference last year. So it was a good experience for me as a parent to participate, but then I also got a lot of great information from that national conference that I brought back to my Family Advisory Council and to my State Interagency Coordinating Council. I remember being invited to a meeting. It was an Interagency Coordinating Council meeting, a local Interagency Coordinating Council meeting. And I was invited as a parent participant, and I attended, but once I was there, it was very uncomfortable because it was obvious that there was a very tight agenda. The people there were very, very busy, and they were trying to get through a lot of content, a lot of information in a very short period of time. And so I really just felt like a fly on the wall as I participated in that meeting. The people were very friendly, they were very welcoming, but at the same time, it felt like their meeting, and so I didn't feel that it was appropriate to ask any questions or provide any input. I felt like they would ask me if they wanted that. So it ended up being a very uncomfortable meeting for me as a parent, and I ended up not going back, and nobody ever asked. I think some parents may be hesitant to get involved in leadership positions beyond their regular participation in the program just due to lack of awareness. There's, at least in my experience, there's no organized way to let parents know these are some opportunities for you to be a leader or to take a leadership role. So first of all, parents just aren't aware that there's even a need out there for parents to step up and take leadership roles. The only way most of us know is because we might have a very interested professional, early intervention professional or preschool teacher who sees that we might be able to meet a need related to a leadership role. And honestly, that's how I've always been engaged. a professional let me know that there was a need, and that's how I've been connected. So I don't think that families know what's out there, what's needed, how they can take leadership as it relates to early intervention or preschool services. So that's the first barrier, and then the next is just the nature in which we are engaged. So once professionals decide that it's a really great idea to include parents in leadership positions, then they go out and they look for good prospects, and they let parents know, hey, we'd love for you to be on this board or this committee or show up at this event. And I don't think there's much beyond that. So even if a parent shows up, we don't always know, okay, we're here, so what are we doing here? And again, we've been invited to something by someone else, so it's not really our venue or our event or our meeting, so we're kind of waiting for someone to give us some guidance or invite us to give some input. So if no one really does that, then most of the time we're just kind of standing by along the fringes and just waiting for someone to ask us what we think about something. And so I think that can be discouraging for many parents to be invited to something and then not quite sure know what they're doing there once they get there. I think one way to engage parents would be to provide them with information ahead of time about this is why I'm asking you to be on this committee or board or meeting, because I think you have some very important things to say about this particular topic. So we'd love to hear from you about whatever the topic is. If you could just share a few things, just saying those types of things helps a parent to understand that yes, they really want me and need me there. They're very interested in my input, and I'm going there for a purpose. So, and I don't think that happens enough. I don't think it happens enough as far as the parent's concerned. So you may get them to the meeting, and if they don't see their purpose there, you may not be able to keep them. As a system, it's important to be real intentional about planning for opportunities for parents, planning for leadership opportunities for parents, determining what it is that you're going to need from parents, what parents will get out of that experience, and understanding that some of the things that you'll need might be real short term. Some might involve sitting in meetings and presenting. Some might just involve giving quick feedback or input on something very specific that you're planning for the program, and just considering all those different needs, and considering the fact that some parents will be perfect to fill roles related to some of those needs, and others will not. So I think as a program, it's very important to plan ahead about the input that you're going to request from parents and the participation you'll request, and communicate that very clearly so that parents even know that there are opportunities. As professionals in early childhood and early intervention, people understand that children are unique. They come to us with unique needs. They come to us with their own special stories. The same is true for parents. Parents come to us, or parents come to the program with a whole journey. They have been through this journey that brought them to you. And so there's a lot of stuff happening there. So there are things that motivate those parents. There are things that due to that experience and that journey, that some things may have happened that were traumatic. Some things have happened that we celebrated, and so we show up with an agenda ourselves. We are motivated by some very specific things, and if you don't take the time to to find out the story behind those parents, not only the child but the parent, then it'll be hard to engage them.